Mesopotamia. The very word means land between rivers. Two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, winding through a landscape of gentle plains and soft marshes. When the spring snow melted in faraway mountains, the waters would swell, bringing fertile soil to the fields below. Here, in this cradle of life, some of humanity's earliest settlements quietly took root. Imagine the air, still and heavy with the scent of damp earth after a flood. Imagine a small group of families gathering by the riverbank, building simple homes from reeds and clay. At first they were farmers, tending barley and wheat in the sun, watching as the waters receded, leaving behind rich soil. Slowly, season by season, these villages grew. Life moved at an unhurried rhythm. The day began with sunrise over the flat horizon, with the call of birds along the river. Farmers led oxen into the fields, their wooden plows scratching the dark earth. Children fetched water in clay jars, balancing them carefully as they walked. In the evenings, families sat together, telling stories by firelight, while the river whispered nearby. It was simple, and it was steady. This quiet life of tending fields, weaving baskets, baking bread from coarse grain, it gave shape to the first chapter of civilization. Over time, the villages expanded. Some people became craftsmen, shaping clay pots or carving tools from stone. Others tended goats and sheep, their bells jingling softly as herds moved across the plain. The rivers did more than feed the land. They carried boats. Fishermen spread their nets. Traders floated goods downstream. Reeds, fish, woven cloth. Slowly, a network of exchange appeared. If you close your eyes, you might imagine standing at the edge of one of these early villages. Mud brick houses clustered close together, smoke rising gently from hearths. A soft breeze moves the reeds. Children chase one another barefoot in the dust. Nothing feels hurried here. Life is unfolding as naturally as the river itself. As centuries passed, these villages began to take new shape. People learned how to manage the river's floods with canals and dikes. They learned to store grain, keeping food safe for harder seasons. With stability came growth, and with growth came cities.
The earliest cities of Mesopotamia, Uruk, Lagash, emerged slowly, like seeds that had been long planted. Uruk, perhaps the most famous, rose on the plain with great walls and broad avenues. Imagine walking its streets at dusk. The sun is low, shadows are long, and the murmur of voices fills the air. Vendors call out in soft tones, selling bread, fish, and dates. The scent of fresh clay hangs in the warmth as potters fire their kilns nearby. The city was alive, yet never rushed. For most people, daily life remained ordinary and grounding. Farmers brought their harvests into the city's storehouses. Craftsmen shaped copper into tools and ornaments. Women wove flax into linen, spinning threads in the soft light of morning. And at the center of the city stood the temple, a ziggurat, rising step by step into the sky.
One of the most remarkable gifts of Mesopotamia was writing. At first, it was simple marks on clay, used to track grain and goods. A farmer delivers 10 jars of barley, and a scribe records it with careful strokes of a reed stylus. Over time, these marks became symbols, and symbols became words. Cuneiform, they called it, the wedge-shaped script pressed gently into wet clay. Imagine the quiet of a scribe's chamber, the soft scratching of a stylus, the steady hands of a man bent over a tablet, pressing one mark at a time. Outside, the city hums faintly, but inside, all is calm. The tablet will be dried in the sun, its marks preserved for centuries. A simple record,
but also something more, the beginning of memory, of story, of history itself. Writing brought order. It allowed kings to declare laws, priests to record hymns, merchants to track their trade. But beyond the ledgers and lists, it opened a gentle door into myth and story. Epic tales, like that of Gilgamesh, found their first form here. Around the fire, stories had been spoken for generations. Now, for the first time, they could be written, fixed like stars upon clay tablets.
For the ordinary people of Mesopotamia, life followed cycles of work and rest, of planting and harvest, of festival and feast. In the mornings, bakers kneaded dough, shaping loaves for the day. The smell of warm bread filled narrow streets. Potters worked their wheels, the slow rhythm of clay turning under steady hands. Shepherds led their flocks beyond the city gates, bells tinkling as animals grazed in the fields. At midday, the heat grew strong, work slowed. Families gathered in shaded courtyards, sharing meals of bread, lentils, onions, and dates. Children played with carved toys, laughing softly under the watchful eyes of their elders. In the evenings, as the air cooled, music rose. Flutes, lyres, and drums carried gentle songs across the city, mixing with the crackle of firelight and the distant rush of the river.
When we think of ancient civilizations, we often imagine great kings, mighty battles, towering monuments. But for most people, life was softer, quieter, closer to the earth. Mesopotamia's greatness was not only in its rulers or wars, it was in the patient planting of seeds, the careful shaping of clay, the steady building of homes, the slow, deliberate writing of words. Close your eyes again. Picture yourself in a small Mesopotamian courtyard. The evening breeze is cool. A clay lamp flickers softly. The voices around you are low and warm. The world is simple,